Hey, you guys. Sorry, I'm back on my bad computer camera. Um, so I just finished watching the new He-Man series. I don't know if any of you guys were He-Man fans. I was a He-Man fan, but I definitely, as a kid, was more of a She-Ra fan. Gay boy. But I did, of course, love He-Man. I really, really liked Orko. I was a big fan of the Sorceress. Is that what she was called in English? Yeah. And I had the toys. I had all the She-Ra toys. I actually remember I really loved playing with the She-Ra toys when I was a kid, and the way I actually got my father to be okay with buying those is that I always pointed out, well, She-Ra is He-Man's sister, so they belong to the He-Man story, and that was kind of the way that I got him to be like, okay, I guess we can buy you dolls then. Because I mean, like, let's be serious. The She-Ras were basically dolls. I mean, all you did was brush their hair and stuff. Anyway, not the point. Sorry, this is gonna be a long, rambly video without any point, maybe. But basically, I watched this series. If you're planning on watching it, don't keep watching now because I'm gonna go into spoilers. And actually, they're not gonna be like real big spoilers, but just kind of overall themes that I saw in this uh, series, and I've seen a lot in a lot of the Hollywood movies that have come out. And that is that a lot of movies and series and so much that is coming out now is all aimed to very patronizingly tell us or remind us that basically if you're a man, you're shit. If you're straight, you're shit. If you're white, you're shit. We have to constantly empower women and gay people and trans people and black people and all this kind of stuff. So now in He-Man again, He-Man takes the back seat to Teela. So if you guys didn't watch He-Man, you don't know who any of these characters are. But Teela was like the main female character in the He-Man series. And here's the thing. The animation was amazing, by the way. I really liked the Teela character in the original series. She was a badass. Like she was already kicking butt and independent and all these things that we are now being told that has never been a movie and there's never been a series that featured black people or gay people or women in a positive light or as strong characters. This is some kind of revolutionary thing that's only started happening in the last 5 years. And but she was already that character in He-Man. I wouldn't even have been bothered if they had said we are revamping the series, but it's going to focus on Teela. We're going to call the series um, Masters of the Universe Teela's Quest or something like that. And I've been like, cool, this is all going to be about Teela. But the way it was set up was that it was going to be a revisit of the original series. We were going to see the original series continue on, more stories being added on. It was actually supposed to be, what is that called? The sequel to the original series. That's what it was being sold at. And then it was like all of a sudden it was all about Teela. And then it wasn't just about Teela. Then it was like she couldn't even be the Teela she was in the original series. No, then she had to be this man-hating lesbian short haircut because she don't need the approval of no man, kind of woman, and all the men were just these bumbling idiots who couldn't find their butt with their own two hands, and she had to save the day. And there was even like one episode where it was like she had to face her greatest fear, and her greatest fear was accepting the fact that she was the most powerful being on the earth, and it was just so patronizing. And they did this now with Star Trek. I was a big Trekkie. The new series of Star Trek, same thing. All of a sudden, all the men are stupid. They have all these gender non-binary characters, which I'm like, this makes no sense in the future because these are current social issues that probably would not be debated in the future, right? And of course, the main character is a strong, independent black woman who don't take no guff from no man either. So they did it with Star Trek. They did it with Star Wars, where all of a sudden Luke had to die, and all the strong male characters had to die, and they were idiots. And it was all about Rey, and Rey is so powerful and so amazing. I enjoy a movie with a strong female lead. Like I said, I way preferred She-Ra to He-Man. I loved Three Angels for Charlie. I loved Kill Bill. I loved Alien. I loved Underworld. I loved, what was that, Requiem? No, not Requiem. That zombie movie that had several parts. I love those movies. I love movies with strong female characters, but not at the expense of men. And this is something I've been talking about in other videos already. And I think it kind of mimics a lot of my own personal growth, where I feel like maybe I'm just 5 years ahead of social media because I remember making a video where I talked about the fact how I was so in support of Muslims and I was so in support of black people. And I was like, and I think in the Western world, we have come to realize that for a very long time in our history, women weren't treated equal. They weren't. I have no problem with saying that. Gay people weren't treated equal. They weren't. You know, black people, other minorities, they were not treated equal. And when the Western world finally came to that realization and finally came to that acceptance and finally said, okay, we're going to now officially open up and accept the fact that this is what happened, this is our history, and this was wrong. What is that called? That overstrung, is that a word? Like our arrow, and went so beyond what was necessary in terms of trying to bring equality and acceptance to all of these minority groups. You know, from okay, let's just treat everybody equal. Let's start at zero. Let's just give everybody equal opportunity and equal rights, and let's start at zero to okay, well, the only possible way we can uplift black people is by constantly pointing out how shit white people are. And the only possible way we can uplift gay people or trans people is by pointing out how incredibly shit straight people are. And the only way we could possibly uplift women is by constantly pointing out how shit men are. And now here we are in 2021, and literally all the messaging that is coming out of social media, out of Hollywood, and the new books and the commercials and everything now is basically this patronizing message that all white people are racist and all white people are evil and all white people are privileged and all men are sexist and all men are living the life of the great patriarchy and all men think that they're better than everybody else and that all straight people are oppressive and mean, and it's kind of like and we're at the point now where if you actually kind of say, and this is where so much of the drop off in my own channel has occurred, because I one morning woke up and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, um, I've never been against women. I've never been against black people. I've never been against trans people. I've never been against, you know, gay people. I mean, I am a gay man. And all of a sudden in 2021, I'm basically being told, stupid white privileged man from the first world, take the back seat because you're just this privileged jerk who doesn't have the right to speak at the table anymore. And it's just really, it's really I don't like saying the word scary, but it's become such a divisive culture. Um, because we're all living in these weird bubbles, and I really feel I kind of got into a debate with a friend of mine that I'm really close to, and we were kind of going back and forth because I showed her like these weird TikTok videos, and I was kind of like, I'm sorry, but this to me has gotten really creepy, where it was like people saying how we shouldn't say breastfeeding anymore because some men breastfeed, so we have to call it chest feeding, and one girl, well, I don't know, he or she or whatever. She was like the point of being gender neutral is that I can change genders and my pronouns maybe once a month, maybe once a week, sometimes even every hour. And I just was like, and the fear in the West because of the fact that we're so scared of our bigoted past, which for a big portion it was very bigoted. We have become so fearful of now being accused of bigotry. We have, like I said, we have so gone over things to where now we are encouraging behavior that is in the long run damaging to our culture and to our society. I mean, we need to have people return to a place of, okay, everybody needs to sit at the table and we need to really debate some of these things. We can't live in these bubbles anymore. You can't just call somebody a hater because they have an opposing opinion of you and block them off. We need to have open dialogue, and we need to also get back to a place where we understand that people can't choose if they're white or straight or male any more than they can choose if they're gay and black and female. And so I, I don't know. Like I can't really put my finger on what I'm trying to say in this video, but I was just really disappointed by the by the show. I just was like, I for and then the creator of the show came out because it's gotten very bad reviews, and the creator of the show came out and was just saying all these man babies complaining, and don't be such a baby that you're angry that the show is now about a strong woman. Obviously, you hate women, and it's like we are now at a point where you you can't even openly discuss when something is bad or something has a when something is flawed in the way it's being done, or we're almost telling straight white men that they should accept the patronizing attitude and that they have to accept that they're racist and bigoted and sexist. And if they and the weird thing is, like, it's a lose-lose situation, because if you admit to any of those things, then people will run all over you. And if you're a straight man and you admit to being this bigoted sexist move, and then you basically put your tail between your legs, no woman's going to respect you, and they're not going to want to date you, because I'm sorry, a woman does not want a weak man. They don't. I don't even want a weak man. Gay people wouldn't even want a weak man. Who wants a weak man? Nobody wants a weak man. You know, if you're a white person and you don't admit to being racist, then you're basically being told, well, you're still racist, and the fact that you can't admit it just shows how much more racist and bigoted you are. Or you admit that you're racist, and then you're still a bad person because you admitted to being racist. So there's a lose-lose. You know, it's I'm just at the point where I feel like I'm just giving up on humanity. I'm so frustrated with my own blindness in, my 20s, where I also had that same attitude, because I did carry around a certain sense of guilt, because I have a very good life. I've worked very hard for this life, and I've definitely had aspects of this life that have been very difficult and very challenging, and I've had to go through things that I would not wish on another living soul. But at the end of the day, right now where I am, I have a very, very good life. And I remember also having a certain sense of guilt and thinking, how is it fair that my life is so good when so many other people have to suffer? And my attitude to wanting to alleviate that guilt was by downplaying myself. And now we have this attitude on a whole Western society situation. And it was a hard awakening for me to realize that this isn't working. This isn't working. You don't have to tear down men to uplift women. You don't have to tear down white people to uplift black people. You don't have to tear down straight people to uplift gay people. You don't have to do it. There's great white people, there's great black people, there's great Asian people, there's great Latin people, and there's shitty black people, and there's shitty white people, and there's shitty straight people and shitty gay people and great straight people and great gay people. That's a tongue twister. Great trans people. All these things exist, and we have to stop now with this. We have to stop with this pointing the finger and creating this enemy, which is happening in a lot of now very important social situations where people aren't communicating anymore because social media, the news, and the general concept is now this is what a bad person is. So a bad person in today's society is somebody who's white, somebody who's male, somebody who's heterosexual. These are all somehow to blame for everything that's wrong in the world. Another thing, going to Corona, people who don't want to get vaccinated. We're actually at the point now where governments are actually saying these are bad people. It is okay to be openly hostile towards people who don't want to get vaccinated. That to me is creepy. Like, I personally am vaccinated, and I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but it is something that is a choice. And these are still your citizens. These are your citizens. For politicians to actually openly say these citizens in our country are evil and wrong, and it's okay to go after them. I mean, for me personally, because a friend of mine, he sent me an article about how the governor actually said the people who haven't gotten vaccinated are to blame for all that is going wrong in the U.S. and they're evil. And I was like, whoa, Salem witch trials or what? I mean, like this straight up, like, where's the devil? The devil's in them. We have to burn them. We have to burn them for the sake of everyone else. I mean, life is not that simple. I mean, there is some nuance here, people. We can't just. I don't know. I don't even know what this video is about, but I watched the He-Man series and I was very disappointed because I loved He-Man. I was also, I don't know if any of you guys saw the She-Ra series. So in the He-Man series, the new one, the animation is really good. The animation is really, really good. I'm not going to take that away from them, but the plot is terrible. In the She-Ra series, the animation was terrible because it was even one step further. I mean, all the characters were people of color except She-Ra, who of course was a lesbian, and there was like some of them, of course, were like positive body curve or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know how many of them were lesbians. At the end of the series, there was like 4 lesbian couples. I was like, okay, there's like 10 characters and they're all lesbians and they're all people of color. It was beyond patronizing. I was like, I can't believe it. I loved She-Ra, and of course, none of them were allowed to look very feminine, so all the bodies were very straight and I just. And why does this need to be in cartoons? Why does this is okay. Sorry, this is getting really ranty again. But you guys know this of me. I don't need politics in my entertainment. I don't need it. If I want to hear politics, if I want to hear people debating social and economic and foreign policy or something, I will turn to the experts. And trust me, those are generally not the people in Hollywood. It is not the actors or the singers or the screenwriters. They are not the experts in these fields. I don't need to know the opinion of, I don't know, who was a very political, oh, what was that, Alyssa Milano like person. I don't need your political opinion. I mean, of course everybody has the freedom to say their opinion, but I'm like, I just need you to entertain me. That is your job. Your job is to go into a movie and entertain me. I don't need your movie to be political. I don't need you to be political. I don't even need, like, I made the video where I talked about all the cosmetic. I don't need my cosmetic companies to be political. I don't need my water companies to be political. I don't need that. I'm like, that is not your arena. If you wanted to be political, you should have gone into politics or you should have gone into economics. And then that would have been your field. And then that's where people should turn to get information from people who actually know what they're talking about. Of course, this also leads us to the sad fact that most people do get their political views from people like Alyssa Milano and the celebrity that they happen to listen to or like. And rather than go, you aren't an expert, and maybe I shouldn't be taking, maybe I shouldn't take my political views from my favorite, you know, musician or from Lady Gaga or something like that. I don't know, now I'm getting really ranty and ravey. Anyway, if you watched the He-Man or if you watched the new She-Ra, did you like it? Did you not like it? If you did, why? If you didn't, why not? How about Star Wars, the new Star Trek? Did you like it? I'm sad because I kind of had to cut ties with all of these shows because I'm like, I'm not gonna sit there for an hour and a half and basically be told that I'm a piece of shit because I happen to be white and male, and I just don't find that entertaining, and I don't see why I should spend my money on that. So, okay, that's it. Hopefully, you guys are doing well, and maybe me and my best friend are going to Copenhagen tomorrow, so maybe I'll do a little video there, an update or something. All right, bye.